We've had over 50 million episodic views of our show.
We just thought that Barcode A has a zing in a way it sounds, and number two, it's very relevant to the story that we've written.
People are there now. People are watching it. People are ready to accept new cinema, new content, new formats. So why not?
I believe as platforms, okay, we are going to be catering to our users, and self-censorship is something.
I knew Karan, I know Akshay, I know Simran, Parina, we met through casting person.
I believe Barcode completely is completely different to what we've told in the last two.
It's a huge pleasure to have Mr. Siddhartha Roy, COO of Hungama Digital Media, and we have with us Mr. Vignesh Shetty. He's a writer and director of Barcode, which is being launched on Hungama Play today. That's a eagerly awaited web series. And apart from that, we have Abhishek Pathak. He is the producer as well as the director of Panorama Studios. Pleasure having you guys on board Hungama, first of all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so, how's been the response so far? This is the third outing that we have after Damaged and Hankar. So, how happy have you been with the first two outings for the matter?
So we've been actually extremely delighted with both the programs that we rolled out over the last quarter. As such, we've had over 50 million episodic views of our show, so both in terms of Damaged and Hankar, and both have done exceedingly well. We're delighted today to have put together and go out and launch Barcode. We've been working with both Vignesh and Abhishek over the last 1.5 years to put this together.
Right.
And this is, for us, our marquee release for the festival. So we are really happy to bring this out to our audiences, go out and tell the right kind of narratives and storytelling to our consumers. We are eagerly awaiting the response and feedback of this, the original series, out to our users.
Great. So, Vignesh, you're the writer-director, and it's a very young and hip and sort of feel that we have, and music is there, and there's animosity, there is jealousy, there is friendship, and there is young blood coming together as well. So, how confident are you of just striking the right chord with the audience that you have?
See, we are confident, all of us here. We've, as Siddhartha just said, we've been at it for a year and a half. We've believed in the script from day one. We've even while we shot it, even while we edited it, even while we tested it, and by the time we are out now, we've seen the show, and we are all confident about it. And it's working across different levels. You know, it's youth friendly. It's got music going for it. It's got all the ingredients which makes it an entertainer. So on that front, I think we are pretty confident that should kind of strike a chord with the audiences here.
All right, and if you could explain to our audience why exactly the title Barcode.
See, not too many people know that there is an association that actually monitors the industry where nightclubs and hotels and restaurants operate from. You know, there is an association for pretty much every business across the world. So when these two rivals get really out of out of boundary and get really out of hand, it affects the whole business. So rules are set so that there's a code of conduct in terms of how they operate and how they ethically do their business. So we just thought that Barcode A has a zing in a way it sounds, and number two, it's very relevant to the story that we've written. So that's why the title Barcode.
All right, so Abhishek, you've produced these really interesting sort of cinema, and now you're getting into digital. So why the digital platform for you?
Everyone is trying digital platform. I mean, it's not about platform, or it's not a format we make our story into films or a web show. It's just a storytelling what inspires and make us do something. And when he came with the idea of the one line, just a brief one line, I think what he narrated to me of Barcode a year and a half, 2 years back.
Yeah.
And I said there is a story in it, definitely, that we can make this something into. And from there on, we started the journey, and it turned out a very amazing web show. And so again, not a format or not a platform, what we look for, it's a storytelling. And people are there now. People are watching it. People are ready to accept new cinema, new content, new formats. So why not?
All right. So, sir, Abhishek is saying that people are ready to accept new forms and new formats of entertainment. But we've heard that there are possibilities of maybe like censoring the content on web as well. Do you find that a bit maybe out of place in a way?
So let me actually talk about the kind of narratives that are today being told. Where is the need gap for this kind of storytelling, and how does Hungama see that? So we've got our users, as you are aware. We today, Hungama Play goes to about 190 plus countries,
Right, sir.
and is extensively viewed across the board in play. We've gone out and we've looked at this story because it's got a great narrative, it's got a great story out there, and we wanted to go out and tell this to our audiences because of the understanding of the audience's asset we've got for ourselves. Yeah. Okay. Now, first and foremost is that we're taking this story going out to our consumers both in the domestic market as well as to international markets where the South Asian audience is, and we believe that this kind of storytelling is very reflective of the kind of narrative that we want to be going out and telling.
Right.
With regards to censorship, I believe that today we are mature enough as platforms to understand what we want to be taking to our audiences, and the fact that we've got censorship already in place in the way we want to be telling our stories and how that needs to be inputted and put out there. And that is something as responsible platforms we're out there doing. Today when you see television, okay, television in different kinds of structures, television has a very, very single set of audience that they want to be going out and communicating to. In our case, because we know our consumers, because it is digital, because it is a one-to-one medium, the way we want to be telling our stories could be a lot different and it can be broken based on audience and segments that we want to cater to.
Right, sir.
So I have Barcode. Barcode would be catering to a certain kind of consumer segment, because both Vignesh and Abhishek have gone out and told a very different story in a urban youth setting in play. Whereas if you look at Hankar is the underbelly of Bombay. Okay? Where the entire setting of that story, the entire storytelling is very, very different. Both are dramas in that case. But both have been told very differently. Okay? In both those forms, I believe as platforms, okay, we are going to be catering to our users, and self-censorship is something which is, I believe, as mature platforms you go out and you do which way.
Absolutely. So in fact, as you were saying a short while back, that it's a platform that an individual is watching and it should be allowed. And so as far as Barcode is concerned, so you have certain explicit scenes and it is glamorous, it is presented in a very up-tempo.
Yeah.
So what is your personal opinion?
See, as I said before, you know, film viewing is community viewing. You watch it in a theatre, you watch it with a collective set of people. But with web and the whole debate going on, I personally feel that it's individual viewing. It's you're doing it with your own choice. You're making your own decision to watch it or not watch it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm really surprised with the debate that's going on. But the rest, the experts know it, and let's see what they say.
Right. Yeah. So Abhishek, what is the process of just selecting the cast? Because you're having a very interesting cast that you're having. Yeah. And all of them, they're quite popular. And Karan Wahi, I think he's extremely like a popular guy. And you have Akshay Oberoi, you have Simran Kaur Mundi, you have Parina. So what is the...
So when he wrote the thing, obviously there were a couple of things we were looking at a particular cast. And I knew most of them. I knew Karan, I know Akshay, I know Simran, Parina. We met through casting person. And I just made a call to them and they came and they loved the plot. So it was a very quick meeting which happened with us. So ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि we actually went out and casted के 4 लोग मिलते. So we just called up a couple of people and they were the first people in fact who came on to meet us and they came on board for the show. So the character itself resembled really personal life of them, how they are. Karan is a particular way I've seen him and I knew he could fit the character very well. Akshay, I knew the way he is. So when we read the characters, I could see and I told him, do you think Karan will fit? He said, yeah, very good. We called him and he loved the character, he loved the screenplay, and it's first minute it's all done. Yeah, Parina was casting thing which happened to us. And I think she also could be very interesting surprise package for everyone now.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have, I think, a very, very short cameo with Karan, with Kunal Kapoor and Isha Gupta.
Yeah.
That is like a...
Yeah, that's again a little cameo we have in the show, which we'll see in the first episode itself.
Right. Yeah. So what was it in Barcode that you felt as Hungama that one should get associated with that?
So, I mean, when Abhishek connected with us and told us what he had. For us, we want to be telling different stories to different sets of consumers. So in that setting, for us, the barcode story, the barcode format of storytelling and narrative was something that was very, very interesting.
Right.
And we wanted to bring this to our audiences because it's digital, I know what my audience is and what's the kind of content it's wanting to consume. And we felt that barcode fitted that content profiling, that storytelling, and we wanted to bring that into our users. We have, obviously we are aware of consumers and age appropriate content being made available to these consumers, and that's something that we've done all our lives as a company when we take out entertainment to our users, and we continue to do it today. So what is exciting for us is that if you see the 2 previous products that we brought out, they are varied and very different in terms of both the storytelling.
Right, sir.
So Damage was a first time in India, woman serial killer. We tell the story in the first episode and then we go about solving the effective crime as such. Hankar, underbelly, Bombay, very gripping core drama. Again, a very different kind of storytelling.
Absolutely.
I believe Barcode completely is completely different to what we've told in the last 2 shows. So for that, in terms of the Hungama originals play out for us, Barcode is a very different form of storytelling that we want to take out to our users. And you will see that over the next quarters, the kind of storytelling that we continue to do is something which is based on the fact that we've loved the screenplay, we've liked the way it's been put together, and that's something that we want to take back to our audiences.
Great. Vignesh, what was the idea that came to your mind that you felt that you should write and you just elaborate on this?
This world is very my world here. I'm out partying every Saturday night. I've done this for like 20 years of my life. So I know this world very well. Abhishek knows that. I mean, I'm always out on a Saturday night and I like to go to good places. And that's everyone has their own thing on a weekend. And this has been part of my life, as I said, for probably 18, 20 years. So, you know, they say when you start writing a story, write something that you know. That's what they say. So I thought, you know, this is a story that I know this is a world I know very well. So I said, why don't I cook up a story in that world? Because I've seen all that. I have friends who are nightclub owners. I have cousins who are very closely related to nightclub owners. So I know this world weekend in and weekend out. So I just thought it's going to come to me organically.
It's your story. You're saying that it's your story.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's my story. Of course, all these characters, there are a lot of things in them which obviously come from within me. Whether it's Akshay's character, whether it's Karan's character, a few things in the story which are all somewhere a part of my life, or people who I know. But yeah, the story came from the fact that I want to write what I know, and this world is something I know pretty well.
Like semi-autobiographical.
This kind of storytelling has not necessarily been told.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's
that's
very,
what I'm trying. And to me,
that's
the narrative we want to be taking out to our users.
एक बार start करो आप देखना तो फिर आपको देखते रह जाओगे आप. That's something which is for sure. That is something that is. I think you're having Bharat Rabolkar. I think he's playing a very interesting character.
He's got a very interesting role in it. He's kind of he's a hook. Yeah, he's a hook. Whatever he does in the show is actually the hook of the show. Yeah.
Right. So how different was it for you to just produce a digital show compared to movies? What are the sort of challenges that you faced that you'd like to?
See, I think with movie we have a script which is like one script. With what happened with us in web show, there are like 10 episodes, 6 episodes. So like planning for every different episode differently, and definitely there are kind of budgets we get here and you get budgets there, and you have to execute really well. So there are constraints, there are liberties which we get here as well. Like in terms of creative, I don't think what we could do here we can do in films.
If this had to be a film, I really don't know how we could have done this.
Percentage you would have ended up chopping?
40% maybe.
But it doesn't mean that it's something which is not viewable like by audience. But at the same time, it's something which people will enjoy watching. They might compare it to things which are there already, and they say this is something which they were looking out for from an Indian content providers. So this will something break through, or they will like it, and they'll find it a little different than what is happening around right now in web space. Yeah.
All right. So
and this is, and I'll say this. See, the thing is that the way we've also gone about it is that, see, series, web series, all of that's been happening. Okay. The question is, as maturity of the medium happens, each of us want to be telling very different stories. Okay. They could, and they're based on different production values. Okay.
Right.
They're based on different settings that are being put out there.
Right.
Okay. In that sense, I see Barcode really out there, up there, as an Indian offering, but to not only South Asians sitting out of South Asia, but this is to South Asians globally. I think the story that we're telling is extremely universal from a drama perspective.
Right.
Okay. And to me, I mean, if you look at it, you could have had this same story in a setting which could be another country, another world, but the story is really up, urban, Obrish, all of that's there.
So, what do you think are the genres that really work well for the online audience?
See, the way we look at it, Faridoon, is that it's not about only drama, only crime, only comedy. We believe that if there is an interesting story and narrative there, which could be across any genre of content, we'd be interested to participate and see if that can be brought to our audiences. And to me, that is very important. So even what we have done over the last 12 to 18 months to put this together with Abhishek and Vignesh, our intent is that whatever is put out should be out there. I mean, the songs that they've done. I mean, technically, why am I going out and doing? But music lends to this narrative.
Yeah, that's true. Very interesting.
There. And both the songs that have been done are very, very interesting. So we will, as you see it, and as Hungama, we will build those songs independent of the of Barcode, because for us, they're great songs to be put out there for consumers to both watch and listen.
Right. And so many people, they've been asking that which all countries will be available in, and what is how can they possibly access it? And so if you could...
So on both our marketplaces, which is Google Play and Apple, will be available across 190 plus countries. So it's available on Hungama Play. You download Hungama Play, you watch from a try and buy perspective. You're able to watch 2 episodes, post which you go into a paid ecosystem where if you like what you see, then you got to pay us and you get an ability to watch the entire premium experience, because at the end of the day, this is premium content and we're bringing it behind the paid wall through our platforms and affiliates, which are both Hungama Play on Vodafone, Hungama Play on Idea Movies, and Hungama Play on Share It. You're going to see these products available to their users within their platforms as well. So it's both destination play where the content's available on Hungama Play, and through our distribution network it's available.
Great. So what is your favorite character, and any challenges that you faced while writing any character that you'd like to share?
I mean, for me, the only challenge was, I mean, I think is that I had to show these 2 characters to be different from each other, very different from each other, yet there has to be something humane about them. You know, I can't, it's not a show about a good guy and a bad guy. It's not a show like that. It's a show about 2 good people, but the thing is, they're very different from each other in terms of personalities, and yet they do a lot of things in the show, but they're not bad people. It's just that the circumstances make them bad. You know, they're just bad to each other, but they're good people to their own friends and their girlfriends and all of that. So I had to find the conflict in their personalities, as well as give them this whole thing of being humane, you know, being the nice guy, because it's not as I said, it's not about good versus bad. Clearly they both are nice guys, but they're just in the wrong circumstances.
Right. Yeah. Okay, finally, Abhishek, what is your assessment and opinion with regards to platforms like Hungama Play and Hungama, that for digital content, that because now the way you're presenting your stars, like be it Akshobra, I think Akshobra, he's been there, he's done movies, but the way he'll be perceived after this show will be on another level. Like even his styling, the way he's looking, even the image. I think there's a complete makeover that Karan is already a star. I think Parina, the way she's looking like, Simran Kaur Mundi, she's already like I think big star in Punjab. But here, she'll be taken in a different light altogether. So what is your opinion about platforms like Hungama and the way they just help you reach out to such a huge audience all across the world?
Yeah, that's the
like
thing.
190 countries is huge.
It's a huge, obviously. We have a great platform where we're going to reach out to people. And I mean, we do make a lot of films at the same time. We have a lot of things which we are very not sure about कि film कैसे बनाएंगे. Like this content is something not for the general movie-going audience. It is something very experimental. It is something which is very different than what they normally watch. And platform like Hungama or any other platform will help us to really make that content available to those audiences which are ready to watch these films or these shows. I mean, it's a good generation right to jump which is happening in movies. It's a great time for cinema, in fact, and at the same time the web show coming up. And I think it's a bigger, wider opening which has come to us in terms of content providers. पहले सिर्फ theatre थे, अभी now we have a massive platform which is like available to everyone at the same time, sitting at home at their own convenience. So it's great for us, in fact, for content providers.
Great. All right. So lovely talking to you. I think a hugely insightful discussion. So Siddhartha, thank you so much for your time. Vignesh and Abhishek, and all the best wishes for Barcode.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.